you've mentioned it a few times, but making a Game Boy game, that was something that when I saw your video and you kind of again walk through that whole process, that's something that you would think you need a ton of experience, need to do all this kind of stuff, but you just that one program you mentioned, you just kind of started using that, messed around with it, and I mean, from what I saw, you made like a fully playable game based on that music video you directed, which is super cool. I mean, you even got the injector to put it on actual cartridges,
Yeah,
which I mean,
that's the
that's
thing
just
you have
going the
to
extra mile, which is just so cool. So
Thank
if you
you.
kind of want to talk about, I guess, that process and what, made you want to take on that challenge.
Yeah, so, like, ever since I was a little kid, like, I've always wanted to make games, when I was in, like, 1st grade, like, that was my dream job, like, I wanted to be a game developer when I grew up.
Hmm.
So, like, I got my first Game Boy when I was, like, I'm gonna guess, like, 5 years old or something. Like, the first game I got was, like, Earthworm Jim, and, like, I just like, I love, like, I just think that, like, games are so cool, and, like, it's funny because I feel like everyone has this, like, innate desire to, like, mythologize themselves. So, like, when I was growing up, like, I always, like, wanted to be, like, in a game or, be, like, have my own action figure or something. Like, I wanted to, like, see myself in
Hmm.
some form of, like, interactive media. And so, like, eventually I was like, "Oh, I could put artists into these, like, games or, like, action figures and, like, mythologize them, make them, like, a physical like thing within some like interactive sense. But yeah, so like being a little kid, I was kind of dumb. Like I used to like make little like paper Game Boy games and like try to stick with my game that won't play. I remember like I think in like I think I was in like 1st grade or something. Like I used to like draw out little like platformer levels on like graph paper, and
Hmm.
then in like I think at some point in elementary school, I downloaded like Game Maker and I tried to make like a little like mini game on my computer. Like I think it was some like Sonic the Hedgehog shit with like little Chow characters.
Hmm.
Um, but then like oh yeah, I remember like I was obsessed with the Cartoon Network online games. Like I thought that was so cool. Like I always wanted to create some sort of
Hmm.
like mini game because like I could go watch a show and then go online and like play little shockwave games and stuff. But in like in middle school, I got obsessed with Flash and like tried to make Flash games that didn't work out. And then like I kind of like put it on the side. Like I always knew like at some point I want to make a game. Like I want to create some sort of like interactive media. And then like I forget what exactly inspired it, but like I think I just like I just googled like how to make a Game Boy game one day. Then I saw
Hmm.
this research, this whole like all these resources, and I'm like, holy shit, this is actually like super easy to do. So like I downloaded the software, instantly like went onto eBay, bought like a flash cart, bought like one of these things, and basically the first thing I made, it was like my buddy Suicide Rascal. He just dropped an EP, and I wanted to figure out if I could like take that EP and like recreate it in 8-bit. So I would like listen through the songs and then like try to code them. Like literally, if you go on a GB Studios website, they have this like documentation page, or if you spend just like a day just like reading through that whole thing, like it'll tell you how to do literally every single step of the process. So like I made like just this one little test game that was just like 5 songs, and you just press
Hmm.
A to like cycle through the songs. And then I was like, oh wow, I'm onto something. Like I need to eventually make like a full game because this is like really cool. So basically, for like the next like I guess like I don't know like 5 or 6 music videos. After we would make the music video, I'd make like an 8-bit version of the song, and then just like a little graphic of like the artist, and I would just make these little like fake games where it's just like the title screen with the song playing, and I would like post that on Instagram to promote like each music video because I thought like, oh, maybe people will see this, interact with it, and it'll like
Hmm.
direct traffic to the music video. And then when we shot the music video for Boner, I was like, I just like Sebi's whole brand, his image, like his fan base. I was like, I think this is like the perfect demographic and artist and image to like make a game for. Because I was like waiting for that opportunity to make a full game. But like when we shot that
Hmm.
music video, I was like, this has to be it because like there were like different environments and stuff. Like there were some scenes where there were like crystal lakes and shit, and I'm like, oh, this would be perfect for like a platform game. So like I made like the first like game. It was just so this is like the first one we made, and it's Boner, and it's like 8 levels long. Like I'm gonna be honest, it's not that good of a game because like I hadn't figured out how to make like enemies that work that well. So there's no enemies. It's just like a platformer with pitfalls, and when you fall, it restarts the
Hmm.
level. But then when you beat the game, it like has a QR code that brings you like this secret like little VR experience, and it's also
Hmm.
like the comments on it, like because the video is only accessible to those who beat the game. It's kind of like the comments are kind of like a little like mini leaderboard where the people who like bought the
Uh-huh.
game can go in there. So we made 25 copies, sold out in like 40 minutes, and then there wasn't really much buzz. Like it was just kind of like we sold it and like that was that. And then like I think like
Hmm.
a few weeks later we were like, why don't we make a TikTok about this, because this is kind of like something that's like new that no one's really done before. So went and made like a TikTok about it, and it just exploded. And like all these people started hitting us up. Like I There were all these like potential games that I was gonna do, but none of them like kind of like worked out. Like Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park reached out to us, which is crazy because like
Whoa.
Hybrid Theory was like the first album I ever bought, and also like growing up, I was like obsessed with Transformers. Transformers is another thing that like got me into VFX too. But
Hmm.
it is funny because in the Boner music video, there's a scene where Sebi is like half centaur, like a mechanical centaur, and then like transforms into a spaceship. So it's like there's an actual
Hmm.
like transformer in it. It was just like this like full circle thing, and then like that like really popped off and kind of like you know um, generated a good amount of buzz. And then like a year later, we decided to make a sequel to Boner called Donor because he just released a VV Red. So I did the Donor music video, and I was like, yeah, this has to be a game because like the whole music video is in like this lava hellscape, and like
Hmm.
as a kid, I was always obsessed with like the lava levels in the video game. So I'm like, I'm gonna make a game that's like all lava levels. And then
Hmm.
at one point in the game, I was like, you know what, I have to like one up it from like the last game. So I designed like a little boss fight, and I realized like, oh shit,
Hmm.
like it's not that difficult to make like actual bosses. So like through like making this new game, I learned so much about the process that like every single game I make from here on out is going to be like a whole nother league better than the last one. So yeah,
Hmm.
so here's the Donor game I made. It's cool, a cool little detail. There's like spot hollow just on the text, and just as like a joke, I made like a 3D printed like giant version of it because like I think I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
do this for every game I make, and then like one day I'm just gonna have like a wall of just like all the games I've made.
Uh-huh.
But
That'd be so sick.
yeah, I'm working on a couple games right now, but I don't want to give like too much info about them because they're like super
Hmm.
exciting. But like one really cool thing I learned is like in making these games, you can attach scripts to music events. So like you have like the music. So like when you make music on the Game Boy, you have to type in like each note of individually. So it's like this chart. You have to be like this note, this instrument, this effect. So it's like this like hex code you have to put for every single note. But like in the
Hmm.
newest version of GB Studio, they added this thing where you can attach a script to like certain notes. So like once you hit like a certain note, it'll run like an event. So this game that I'm like one of the games or both the games I'm working on right now, there's boss fights, but the boss's attack patterns are like in sync with the music. So like right like when the song drops, the boss like changes to a different phase and the attacks get harder. So
Uh-huh.
it's like like doing games that are like in tandem with music projects. It's like you have to listen to the music to understand like when the boss is going to attack next. And so yeah, I want to do some more stuff like that. Yeah, yeah, I can't think of anything else, but yeah. Oh yeah,
I mean, no, that's okay.
oh yeah. I was gonna say
Continue.
like, yeah. So this is like the GBX cart by Inside Gadget. So it's like a little USB port, and you literally just like put a flash cart into it, and then like plug it into your computer, and then you can just like write ROMs files to it. So that's like how I put the
Hmm.
games on like the physical cartridges.